I got into IIM Bangalore, applied for around 150 roles, and received roughly 30 shortlists. Then I failed 17 interviews. All of this happened during final placements over 3 intense days. I finally received an offer on my 18th interview. Before joining IIM Bangalore, I thought placements would be fairly easy. I was studying at one of the best business schools in the country. I assumed the brand would take care of most things. Those 3 days stripped away the assumption very quickly. They tested my confidence, made me question the 45 lakh MBA decision I had made, and taught me what an IIM brand can actually do for your career. Before my MBA, I worked as a civil engineer with the Tamil Nadu Public Works Department. I had spent 5 years in the government sector. I had managed teams, worked on real projects with real constraints. So, when I joined IIM Bangalore, I believed that I had a solid profile. My goal was to change sectors. I was mainly targeting general management roles because they seemed like a close fit for me. I had experience managing people, taking responsibility, and working across different stakeholders. And I had the IIM Bangalore name on my CV. In my head, that combination was strong enough. I knew my work experience could create few difficulties. I was older than many people in my batch, and my background was unusual for private sector recruiters. Still, I underestimated how hard it would be to explain that background in an interview. The first issue appeared before the interviews. Some companies had shortlist criteria that favored students with less than 3 years of work experience, and I had 5. I also received very few consulting shortlists. Recruiters never told me directly that my work experience was very high. But when you study the roles, criteria, and the profiles being shortlisted, you can understand what is happening. The second issue was even harder. Recruiters struggled to connect my government sector experience with the roles they were hiring for. I knew that I had managed teams. I knew that I had taken a lot of responsibilities. I knew that those skills could transfer to the private sector. But knowing it myself was not enough. I had to explain it in the language of each role, and at that point, I wasn't doing that well. I had taken placement preparation very seriously. I have reviewed my CV countless times with a lot of my seniors. I attended mock interviews. I also practiced a lot of cases with my batchmates. I was especially comfortable talking about my MBA achievements. I had performed well in several case competitions, and those stories were fresh in my mind. But my preparation had one large gap. I could explain what I had done, but I couldn't explain why it mattered to the role sitting in front of me. Suppose a company was hiring for a general management position. I would talk about managing teams in my previous work experience, but I hadn't spent enough time connecting that experience to company's business, the decisions involved in the role, and the problems they expected this person to solve. This translation matters when your background is unconventional. The recruiter shouldn't have to do it for you. My final placements took place in the month of November in 2023. Over those 3 days, I moved from one interview to the next. Every new shortlist gave me a hope, and every rejection shaved off a little confidence. The first few were manageable. You tell yourself that the role wasn't the right fit for you. You review what went wrong, make few changes, and appear for the next interview. Then the number keeps on rising. 5 rejections, then 10, then 15. After a point, every interview begins carrying the weight of all the previous ones. You walk into the next room, trying to sound calm, but your mind is asking you an uncomfortable question. What if this keeps on happening? To be honest, I had been a confident person most of my life, but those 3 days tested that confidence more than anything else. Sometimes confidence looks very ordinary. You hear no, take a short breath, and show up for the next interview. And that is what I kept doing. The ITC interview hurt the most. Before placements, I had finished as a runner up in an ITC case competition. Because of that experience, I felt I had understood the company and had a realistic chance of converting the interview. I went in with confidence, but still I did not clear it. The rejection stayed with me because it removed one of the explanation I had been using to protect my confidence. This was a company I knew. I had already performed well in front of them. I still fell short when the interview mattered. I had to sit with that result for a while, then prepare for another interview. The back to back rejections eventually got me to the 45 lakh MBA question. I had left a stable government job after 5 years. I had spent around 30 lakhs on the MBA and another 15 lakhs over salary and other costs. So, yes, there were moments where I wondered whether I had made the right decision. Had I left too much stability behind? Was my previous work experience too difficult to carry into a new sector? Had I overestimated what the IIM Bangalore brand would do for me? Those thoughts were real. I don't want to clean them up now and pretend I had perfect confidence throughout the process. Even during those difficult times, my batchmates, my friends, and the placement committee helped me keep going. Sometimes they helped me with the preparations. Sometimes they simply made sure that I didn't stay stuck after a rejection. Then I realized during a difficult time, having people around you matters more than anything else in this world. Then came interview number 18. It was for a founder's office role in an early stage startup. By then, I had already faced 17 rejections. I couldn't control the outcome anymore. I could only walk in, answer honestly, and make the clearest case I could for my profile. This time, I received the offer. The relief was immediate. After around 150 applications, 30 shortlists, and roughly 17 interviews, the placement process was finally over for me. I wish I could say that the 18th interview worked for me because I discovered a brilliant trick, but I didn't. I kept showing up long enough to meet an opportunity that was willing to take a chance on my profile. I joined the company through campus placements. After around 6 months, I realized that the role wasn't working out for me. So I started looking outside. This time, I approached the search differently. I applied to far fewer roles. I studied each role in detail and asked myself that whether my experience could solve the problems in that role. When the connection felt weak, I skipped the application. When the connection was strong, I explained it clearly. That approach eventually helped me find roles that suited my profile better through direct applications. That placement experience had taught me how to position my past instead of just listing it. I still believe that the IIM Bangalore brand helped me enormously. It gave me access to companies and conversations which would have been difficult to reach earlier. It helped me receive 30 shortlists despite coming from a government engineering background. The brand opened doors for me. My story had to carry me through them. A placement report compresses hundreds of different career into one average number. Every student enters with a different past, target different roles, and faces a different set of filters. My experience sat somewhere inside that average. The number alone couldn't explain the 17 rejections, the 18th interview, or the work I had to do after graduation. If you are entering an MBA with 4 to 6 years of experience, accept that some campus roles may be close to you. Keep your options open. Research every role properly. Speak to an alumni with a different background and learn to connect your previous work with the exact problem the recruiter is hiring you to solve. Your unusual background can become useful once you explain it clearly. And if the campus placements take longer for you, remember this: your career is much larger than the placement process. I graduated from IIM Bangalore in April 2024. The difficult placement week became one part of a much longer journey. Getting into IIM Bangalore gave me the confidence to take on difficult problems, and success still asks for preparation, clear positioning, and persistence. I failed 17 interviews. The 18th one worked. Sometimes that is enough. You only need one yes out of 100 rejections. If you are preparing for CAT or entering an MBA, share your work experience and the role you are targeting in the comments. I'll pick a few profiles and explain how I would approach the placements for each role in a separate video. And if you want more honest videos about IIM Bangalore, MBA decisions, and life after graduation, subscribe. See you in the next video.